Give him a ring. Hey, is it letting you in?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, better.
How's my mic working, KP?
All good.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here. I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. So there should be. Oh, there we go. There we go. Perfect. So you don't want everybody zooming in and peeping your closet in the background?
No, last time I did an interview, my mom told me afterwards that I need to close my closet because it looks better.
No, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, you know, moms.
Yeah.
Your Fight Talk Authority. Not to mention the most entertaining and talked about podcast with your kick-ass host, Richard ORTIZ.
You mad? Come at me, bro.
And his loyal worldwide. Coming to you all the way live from a little place somewhere in Cali. The Fighters Voice. Kick-ass podcast.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Fighter's Voice Kick-Ass Podcast. And if I haven't told you already, Happy New Year's to everybody out there, the friends, the followers, the supporters, and even the haters. We got love for you out there, man. Appreciate you more so than this year than last year. I will tell you that. Listen, before I get into today's show and today's guests, bro, did you guys watch the news today? Cole, don't even start. Cole, don't even start with that because Cole take over the show. Ladies and gentlemen, you didn't even know Cole ESCOVEDO is the future president of the United States.
Yeah, good fucking luck. Let me just light this fucking house of matches ahead of time. No,
he just told
me
it
was crazy. It was pretty crazy. I don't know. I'm amazed by the ease in which they were able to access the building. Like, you can't even sneeze in that place on a tour without getting like the squirrel eye from the security guy in the corner. So I don't know. I don't even want to. I don't. It's hard to discuss it because it's super weird. They just walked in almost.
Well, I mean, before I introduce our guests, I will say it did look like the camera from Scarface when they just took over the building at the very end. I mean, they just came in ready to go. But you know what? Let me introduce tonight's guest. I can't say former because he's still got some kick-ass in the MMA world, but he's now a jiu-jitsu fighter. I mean, he is the absolute SUG submission underground champion, and that's what it stands for, of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, Mason, the Mangler, Fowler. Welcome to the show, my man.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate you being on the show. Cole's been trying to get you on for a minute, man, and he just said, hey, Rich, he's in training camp. He's preparing for a big fight. He said, mark my word, when this fight comes up, don't blink, especially if it goes to the ground. Enough said. I mean, let's jump right into it. Let's talk about, and I will say, biggest opportunity to date in your career, going in and sharing the mat with Bader.
Yeah, that was amazing because he has a huge name. And he's the current Bellator heavyweight champ, and he had a long run in UFC also. He's an accomplished wrestler.
Wait, well, hold on. The heavyweight champion tapped out to my man Mason Fowler, baby.
Yeah. Bader got knocked the fuck out like a good month or so ago, didn't he? By that Russian cat.
But he did. But he tapped out.
Well, yeah, Mason.
Yeah, but Bader, he was actually the double champ. He was the light heavyweight champ and the heavyweight champ. So
the light
heavyweight title to the Russian guy, I think.
Well, he still got the heavy.
He still has the heavyweight title, yeah. So he's still the current Bellator heavyweight champ.
Even better. So, like, do we have to call Scott and be like, hey, Coker, we need that belt?
No, I'm actually really happy that he wasn't allowed to hit me in the face.
Dude, right?
So I'm not going to get in a cage with him when the rules allow him to punch and elbow me in the face. That doesn't sound like a good time.
How did he feel as far as his ground control? Like, it is taking some of his tools away, not with the elbows and the punches and stuff. But how did he feel from a ground guy standpoint? What did he feel like? Did he feel comfortable? Did he feel like he wasn't as like it didn't feel like familiar water without the ability to punch?
Yeah, he definitely was a little jumpy. And
hold on a second. His tools were taken away the minute Mason had his fucking arm.
Pretty much. So did he kind of feel like a fish out of water? Or?
I wouldn't say a fish out of water, but definitely I felt like he was kind of jumpy and he was reacting a lot, and you get that with someone that isn't as comfortable. So I definitely felt he was more uncomfortable than I was. And if you watch his body language, if you watch his body language compared to mine in the cage, I think you would see that I was moving a little bit more smooth because I was a lot more comfortable, and he was a little bit more jumpy.
Yeah, that definitely was. It's almost like a twitch factor. Like he's anticipating what you're going to do, so he's kind of like hesitant. Like, well, do I pull my arm back? I'm not sure. So,
it would have been the same. It would have been completely reversed if we were in an MMA fight. He would have been I would have been the jumpy one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally different world with Bader with the ability to punch you in the face and crush your skull. Yeah, that's a different kind of beast. But what brought up the 10-day turnaround? Was that your choice? Was that to do? What brought that up?
Oh, I mean, I had all kinds of different plans. I had plans with my girlfriend's family, her other side of the family, my dad's side of the family, which is in Bakersfield, and then my mom's side of the family, which is in Fresno. So we had 4 different plans, all planned around Christmas, and pretty much just canceling and get this opportunity. I have to take this, and then let's reschedule Christmas for New Year's. So that's what I did with my family. We actually saw my girlfriend's mom, but that's it. We didn't see anyone else.
Hey, Mom got the exclusive?
She got the exclusive, yeah.
Can I ask you a question? You don't got to get too much detail, but how does that conversation go? I mean, they completely understand what's at stake for you and how long you've been working, and they completely give you their blessing and say, you know what, go ahead. We're going to celebrate New Year's, Christmas for New Year's.
Yeah, and there's that. There's that factor, but then there was also the factor that I had been traveling and I had been exposed to a lot of people, and I was planning on getting a COVID test as soon as I got back, but the COVID tests were like completely booked everywhere. It was unbelievable because everyone wanted to get tested before Christmas. So then I wasn't going to be able to even get a test. And then, I had, at the time I accepted the match, I had maybe like 5 days to train. So it was both of those factors. And when I called them and told them that, they all were, no problem. We'll push everything back. So I did Christmas with my mom's side on New Year's, and then my dad's side, I'm going to go down there probably in the next couple of weeks and hang out with all them.
Good deal. Well, you got your Christmas gift early, man. I mean, you worked real hard, and just by watching the fight, you did look the smoother of the two. You looked the quicker of the two, and he definitely looked out of his element. He tried to take you up against the cage as if that was smart.
That was smart.
Very, very smart. Actually, and look, for a split second, I was going, he looks like he's going to throw a right hand. Just come by. I mean, you would expect that, and you would think that. Just watching it, I'm thinking, okay, he's throwing the right hand, but no, you maintain full control.
Yeah, so we knew, I knew in my head that Bader, he's a competitor. He's not just going to show up for the paycheck or whatever. He's really going to come in and try to win, and he's an amazing athlete. He's like 230, 240 pounds, D1 wrestler, multiple-time All-American. He's been grappling for probably over 10 years, so I knew he was going to come to win. And I do remember when he started shoving me up against the cage, I was thinking like, oh shit, that's pretty smart, because the last match I had with the Japanese guy Ishii, I was having some trouble. I had him in a couple triangle attempts, and he had my head stuffed up against the cage. I was kind of crunched up, and I couldn't really angle the way that I wanted to, and I wasn't able to finish the triangle on him. So I think he watched the tape, and he was thinking like, okay, I need to put him on the cage, and he won't be able to hopefully get the submissions. But luckily I was able to kind of angle out just enough where my neck wasn't up against the cage. So instead of being stuffed, I was able to just angle my body a little bit, and then that's what kind of gave me the arm.
I noticed right off the get-go, you went right to your butt. But is that part of your strategy? Is that something that is one of your strengths? Of course you want to be on the ground.
Yeah, so it really depends. If you watch all of my Submission Underground matches, I've played – in my opinion, there's 3 different components really of grappling. There's the stand-up, right, the wrestling. There's passing when you're on top, playing top, and then there's playing guard on bottom, right? So if you watch, I've had 8 or 9 Submission Underground matches this year in 2020, And you can find me playing all three of those components in different matches. It just depends on the opponent and what their skill set is. Obviously, if I'm going with Ishii, Olympic gold medalist in judo, okay, maybe it's going to be better if I sit to my butt, right? Bader, wrestler, sit to my butt. Some of the other guys, Vinny, when I had the match with Vinny, he opted to stay on the feet with me. I was like, okay, that's fine. I'll just hand fight with you. I have really good conditioning and good hand fighting, and I'm confident in my wrestling as well. So then I took the regulation as an opportunity to just wear on him and get him tired, and then I was able to get him tired going into the overtime. And then obviously with Craig, he sits immediately, so I don't have an opportunity really to wrestle. I don't really have an opportunity to play guard because he's already on his butt. So, okay, now I'm going to play on top. And then, so it really depends on your opponent what strategy you're going to apply.
Yeah, chess. That's the beauty of it. It's chess. You'll find a lot of guys do this. They approach it the same way as Mason does. Is you only have one guy to focus on. No different than MMA fighters. They're going to focus on what is their opponent good at. Is he a guy that not like a Donald Cerrone? You're not going to try to bang with Donald Cerrone. Maybe today it's different. But like back in the day, like your goal was not to bang with Donald Cerrone. And we all know. Like for example, he just submitted RDA. Was that the same card that he did that?
It was the one with Ishii.
Yeah, he submitted RDAs, so when everybody forgets that Cerrone has ground game too, but you wouldn't want to trade with a guy like Cerrone. So like with a guy like Mason, same thing. He's going to approach each opponent with, what are you good at? There's no striking, so it's what are you good at? Guy like Bader, wrestling. Well, he's just going to lift me up and dump me, and I'm going to end up at side control. So those are the things that you want to avoid as far as for those watching why he approaches it in certain ways, because every one of those advantages puts Mason at a massive disadvantage as far as what he's good at.
Mason, school me real quick, because he looked like a mammoth of a man compared to you. I mean, you can see the weight difference, the size difference. There's no scale when it comes to these matches, or what's going on there? How much are you giving up?
Yeah, usually there is. Usually they do the matches by weight, but right now I'm like the absolute champion. So the absolute is all weights. So it doesn't matter if the guy's bigger or smaller. It's for the absolute title.
And you know what? Since we're talking about that, talk to us about Absolute. Talk to us about the whole company. A lot of people are not familiar with it. I mean, I started getting light of it as more and more I was speaking to Cole about you coming on in the future. So I did my homework a little bit, but, and Chell Sonnen, he's behind the mic. Talk to us about this company and where is it going to go, and is it the future of mat wrestling or jiu-jitsu? What would you call it? What would you prefer to call it?
I would say it's submission grappling. It's not really jiu-jitsu, and it's its own thing because it has a really unique rule set. You can't call it really jiu-jitsu or wrestling. It's just like submission grappling. Yes, the first time I actually heard about them, I don't know if you guys remember, they did a match with John Jones and Dan Henderson. Mm-hmm. I think that was Submission Underground 2.
Yeah, that was way back in the day.
Yeah, way back in the day. And then they had like AJ Agazarm on there. You remember like Jake Shields like slapped him after the match. Mm-hmm. So they've been doing big things, and they've been doing big crossovers. Misha Tate also had a match there before. They've been doing big crossovers between UFC fighters and jiu-jitsu players for a while. And
similar to Fight to Win, right? Similar.
Yeah, but Fight to Win, you see less. It is very similar to Fight to Win, but the biggest difference I would say is Submission Underground usually gets more MMA guys. Mm-hmm. Fight to Win is usually more strictly jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu comp guys. Yeah, so it's same idea, but two different aspects of the same sport kind of
Two different aspects and two different rule sets also. They have their own unique rule set. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I would say they're very, very – Fight to Win and Submission Underground are very, very similar.
Who's it sanctioned by, and who's the president of this organization?
Submission Underground's owned by Chael. And then, I mean, it's the same crew every time. His partner, Kevin Keeney, is the announcer. I think those are the two main bosses. And then Heather Standing is the matchmaker, and Dave Hagen is the referee. They have a crew. It's always the same guys and girls every time we go. They have the same camera crew and everything there. They got a cool squad.
Just want to give them a plug, man, let them know what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. No, great people, and like, it's crazy, man. They always they take care of us. They always put, fly us out, book us nice rooms. The pay is really good.
I was going to ask you, what would you compare the pay to as far as what you've heard from, say, fighters? Let's use fighter-based pays as an example. How would you compare it to that?
It's better than pro fighters at the local level, but it's not at the level of like UFC. Like your first fight in UFC, you make like 10 and 10. It's not there, but it's definitely, it's more than most local.
You could sustain your training costs and actually make a little bit of money off of doing it. At least at a higher level.
For sure, yeah. Like the main card guys, they pay everyone well.
Nice.
I mean, Donald Cerrone's not going to show up for pennies, right?
Well, no, yeah, totally not, yeah. But dude, they're drawing those stream numbers too. People are going to watch just to watch you, compete and stuff. So. Yeah,
that card with Cerrone on it, it broke the Fight Pass record, is what I heard of.
No, nice.
Viewers. Yeah, so it had a really, really big viewership.
Yeah, well, Cerrone was coming off of that. What was that? The last loss. I think everybody wanted to see him get a W, get something going again, see the old Cerrone, and see if remind everybody that he's still here and stuff. So, but with Ishii out of the way and now Bader out of the way, what names have they been throwing at you next, or have they been asking you who you want to compete against? Because right now it's not like fighting; it's who do you want to compete against kind of questions as far as I guess the sport you're in.
Yeah, obviously, like the bigger names is better for me because it just brings so many eyeballs to the event, right? I mean, I wouldn't mind. They're going to do 9 shows this year. They're going to start in March, and then they're going to do one every month.
Oh, cool.
I mean, it would be nice to get another couple high-level UFC guys in there. Like maybe a grappling-based UFC guy, though, like a Jiu-Jitsu guy. But it's whatever. Whoever Chael tells me the next match is, then that's what the match is. You know what I mean? I'm the champ, right? So I can't sit here and nitpick who my opponents are going to be. So
maybe we could pull in like a Damian Maia or something.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty cool.
Maia, or even maybe like a Yoel Romero would be cool.
Yoel Romero would be cool. Jacare maybe because he can cross over pretty well. Yoel would be interesting because Yoel's whole game is hitting you. Yeah, like his whole game.
He's a wrestler. He's an Olympic gold medalist wrestler too. You know? So he has good grappling. So he's not necessarily a submission guy. Yeah, that's just like a freak show type thing. You know what I mean? And also just because I'm a fan of his. Maya would be cool. Maya would be sick.
Maya would be a very sensible match to bring over because he's like a top jiu-jitsu guy in the MMA world as well as competitive jiu-jitsu before he even started fighting. So to see him come over like that'd be pretty cool. So if Uncle Chael, if you're listening to me, go, let's get Maya. Let's bring him some cheddar and get him in there. But is there anyone in particular in the jiu-jitsu world that you would hope to be able to compete against? Not just, I'll compete against so-and-so. Is there anyone that you've seen that you're like, I would like you guys to make phone calls and see if we can set that match up? Like
whoever they tell me, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
You're gonna play the Switzerland role?
It's you, Cole.
Yeah. Mason's always down to choke my life out. Trust me. Mason will take any opportunity he can to wrap his arms around my neck. Trust me.
Hey, Mason, let me ask you this. You talked about you being the world champion. How cool is that? How cool is that strap, man? I mean, do you have it there in your room there?
No, I actually I gave it to my mom. She framed it and she put it on the wall, so it's at her house. So they always have like a party. They have a big party and they invite like all the family and all the neighbors over and stuff. And then they have like the belt like hanging on the wall above the TV. It's pretty cool.
So you told me that you're living up in Sac now. Where's your home base team out?
San Jose.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, San Jose. So you train out of AKA or were you up there?
Kyle Terrace.
Okay.
I go by AKA sometimes, but that's more of an MMA gym.
Yeah.
So I'm under Kyle Terra. You know, they're all full-time jiu-jitsu guys there.
Okay. So if we wanted to come up and train with you and we were in the area, how would we find you? Where would we have to go?
You can just message me.
Live classes?
No, the gym's kind of on lockdown right now because of COVID. So after COVID, shoot me a message and then we'll get it figured out.
Yeah, Mason, I also wanted to bring that up too because last year, especially because of the whole COVID thing, we've been mostly boxing heavy as opposed to MMA or mixed martial arts jiu-jitsu, and we definitely want to close that gap come to 2021. So whenever you're around the area, we can get some content from you, or especially you're visiting mom and we got the studio up and running. Once we clear all this, got to definitely have you in studio, give you a proper interview, get some great content of you. Especially, we'd love to see you rolling on the mat, rocking the Fighter's Voice T-shirt, man. So that's always a win-win for everybody. And no, we'll go down there and get some content of you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll be sick.
Cole, we're talking about a Valley guy here, man. I mean, Bullard High School. Didn't blossom until his senior year, late bloomers. There's late bloomers when it comes to getting girlfriends and all that other stuff. But we're talking about this guy just had the tenacity of being a football player, baseball player, or actually anything that he wanted to be. why was it your senior year that you finally said, you know what, I just feel a little different when it comes to being athletic? Did a coach, PE coach, scout you out and said, man, this guy got to get on the mat or the football field? He needs to do something with those two legs.
No, man, it's crazy because I actually was kind of a bad kid in high school. I was like partying a lot and skipping school. Yeah, it was bad, dude. It was really bad. Doing a lot of drugs and drinking a lot. I used to smoke cigarettes. Like, I used to smoke Newports all like back in the day, bro. I was like addicted to cigarettes, and I actually started playing rugby my senior year.
Okay.
And that's what like changed my whole life around, and I started living like an athlete. I was so out of shape. Like, my first practice when I went there, we were doing like the sprints at the end, and I was like the last kid, like the very last. And there's like 250, 260-pound kids that were like outrunning me. I was so out of shape, to the point where the coach was like, you know how he's like, all right, Mason didn't go fast enough, so we all got to do one more. Like, it was horrible. I thought I was going to die. I was so out of shape. So literally that one, I never knew how out of shape I was until I actually did that. Because I was like, man, I'm around all these guys and I'm literally the worst one. So that was like a big motivator. Like, I quit smoking cigarettes, and I like started drinking a lot less, like partying and stuff a lot less, and got into like more of the athlete lifestyle. Started like lifting weights every day. Got pretty much obsessed with like working out and playing rugby. That's it.
Your combat sports stuff started off with MMA, right? And you've transitioned over into just the submission grappling stuff now, right?
Yeah, so I did the rugby for 1 year at Bullard, and then I played one season for Fresno State. And then as soon as the season ended, I joined Thrive MMA.
Okay.
Because I was you've been there before, right? You know how there's that Bally's right there next door? Yeah. So I always would, that's where I would lift weights at. So I would always go there like every day. And I always saw the Thrive MMA, and I was like a huge fan of the UFC, like Chris Lieben and Anderson Silva back in the day. And every time that I went in there to lift weights, I would just be like looking over and being like, man, because I really wanted to be a fighter. Before I started playing rugby, I like told my brother I was going to do one season of rugby just to get in shape, and then I was going to start fighting. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but then I ended up like kind of falling in love with rugby, and I played for another season. But then, you know, that ended, and ended up signing up at Thrive. When I first walked in there, I talked to the front desk girl, and I was like, hey, can I fight in the UFC? I was like, will you guys put me in the UFC? And they were like, yeah, that's not really how it works. Like, you know, you fight amateur first. And I was like, okay, well, I'm only going to sign up if I can fight in the UFC. Ended up like signing up and like, did 6 amateur
Isaac's
fights.
Place.
Yeah, Isaac's Place. Yeah. Did like 6 amateur fights and 2 pro fights, and then now I'm just went straight to jiu-jitsu.
What transitioned you over? What kind of got your attention to where you're like, man, this is more of a competitive passion that I want to pursue?
Really, MMA was always my passion. It still is, honestly. Like, I love jiu-jitsu, but I'm such a huge fan of the sport of MMA, and it still is, you know, deep down probably my number one passion. But after that second fight, somewhere in training camp, I started having really bad concussion symptoms, and I had long-term symptoms for like 3 or 4 months where I was really messed up. And after that, I was so like depressed, and it was horrible, man, because I couldn't train, and I was like, I didn't have a regular job. And so that really started to worry me, the head trauma, you know? Yeah. So then that's why I actually just started doing jiu-jitsu full-time with hopes to get my black belt and open an academy, because I was thinking more like long-term, what am I going to do for a career if I can't fight anymore? And then I was just kind of doing, I was just doing the tournaments kind of like for whatever, for fun or just to go compete. And then ended up
build your brand with it.
Yeah, it's taken me way farther than I ever expected. I like wasn't expecting this at all. Now I like live in San Jose, and I'm like training full time, and I'm competing against the best guys in the sport. So it's been like a wild ride. Where
would you want to open the gym? Would you want to open it up in San Jose, or would you want to move and stretch out the team name?
Yeah, so it just depends how everything goes. Like my plan would probably be to open something in Fresno, just because when I was living in Fresno, I had a lot of students there. Me and Gabriel had like a huge program. I still like communicate with all the parents of my kids all the time, and they're always telling me like, when are you going to come back? Like, so-and-so keeps asking about you. Like, they don't want to even do jiu-jitsu anymore. Like, I can't get them to go to class. Like, they want you to come back. And it just, like, breaks my heart.
Throne, right?
Yeah, I was teaching at Dethrone. We had a huge kids program and a huge adults program, too. But the biggest thing is the kids, man, because a lot of the kids I had a real strong, like, connection with. And I just feel like I kind of abandoned them, you know what I mean? Like, all my little students. So that part sucks, and that is one motivation of why I do want to come back, because a lot of the kids are kind of like waiting for me, you know what I mean? Like, they really have that big hope that I'm going to come back. So I got, you know, a couple. I'm 27 now, so definitely got, you know, one or two more.
You're a puppy still.
Yeah, I got a couple more years of competing at this level. It's really hard on your body still, even though you're not getting punched in the head. It's rough on your joints.
Yeah, it's all rough on your joints. It's rough on your tissue, your ligaments. You've got a shelf life just like any other athlete. And you've already been doing things like rugby and stuff, so your body's already kind of been running miles on it already. Yeah,
I got a lot of miles on me for sure. That's why. I mean, I feel like I look like I'm 35, man. I'm 27. My face is all beat up. I got scars and shit. Cauliflower ear.
Bro, you're preaching to the choir, bro. I got a book.
Dude, you look like you're 23 though.
I know. It's from all the fighting.
It's the stash.
It's the stash. Speaking of stash, what happened to yours, bro? I thought this stash of yours was like a competition, like alpha male psychological thing that you were just like.
I might grow it back, honestly.
I mean, you might, dude. The stash is cash. What are you talking about, bro?
I know. I'm thinking about it. Well, I'm gonna start. I play a lot of Call of Duty. I play a lot. And I'm going to start streaming on Twitch pretty soon here. I'm just waiting for all my PC stuff to get here. I'm in the process of building my computer. Okay. So I feel like if I grew the stash, it would be something to kind of set me apart on the stream.
That's what I'm going to say. It'd be like that's why I've got a jackass with a mustache. That's my pull.
Yeah.
So who you should hit up is Demetrius Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Him and Jens Pulver. They're big-time like athlete sport level guys that stream.
Yeah, I play with some UFC fighters. I've played with Kevin Holland before.
Okay.
I play with Deron Wynn a lot. I play a lot with JT Torres.
Okay.
He's a two-time ADCC champ. He's a big jiu-jitsu guy. So I've made friends with a lot of jiu-jitsu and MMA guys on there. So that's probably the goal. You know, get kind of in that group of people, and then a bunch of them are streaming already too. So.
Okay, then you can kind of collaborate with them. Get on the what do they call them? It's not a forum. It's you got to know the name. My son talks about it all the time. It's where they talk about games
Discord.
and stuff.
Discord.
A what?
Discord.
There you go.
Yeah.
See, I'm 40 this year, dude. Come on, give me a break. I'm 40 and I got an 18-year-old son. I'm old. That's all there is to it. But yeah, Discord. So I was gonna say you can kind of get with those guys, and plus you build your brand, you expand yourself more. Before you know it, you're gonna have Mason Fowler who's gonna be doing jiu-jitsu and online esports out of the same gym.
That's a great combination to get students and customers, man, because they're going to be how cool he is. Not only does he kick ass on the mat, but he's kicking ass behind, you know, the screen there, man. Let's go back, because I remember when you did leave. I know Jenna the Gem, a girl, she talked about you leaving, about you being there at Dethrone, and a lot of people leaving. Chris Honeycutt, you know, where are some of my sparring partners at before he packed up and leave? Hey, and I'll take this time. Congratulations, Chris Honeycutt, is expecting he's going to be a father. So the cut, man, or the Honeycutt.
A little badger?
A little badger.
You don't have a little badger?
Little badger. You know, we shake it up. Like, hey, yeah, a little cut. But
we call that Nick. He should name him Nick, his son.
Instead of a cut, a Nick. Oh, dude, that's good.
Dude,
that's pretty good, dude. I like that.
Better than a scab, right? I don't want to piss him off. The last conversation, he told me, Richard, if you take my idea, I'll kick your ass. I said, hey, I'm not trying to, man, because he was talking about a lawnmower that picked up poop or something. I don't know.
Ultimate
He's always got these ideas, man. He's an entrepreneur. He always had crazy invention ideas.
Hey, and it's only a crazy idea until one day you see him rolling by in a rollie going, hey, what happened? You remember that crazy idea I had? That's a fucking Mark Cuban level idea. So remember, guys, every crazy idea is just $1 million idea waiting to be sorted out. That's all it is.
You know what I do want to see? I want to see that conversation take place. Where you went up to the girl and said, hey, I'm only joining if I can get in the UFC. I want you to go here somewhere.
I gotta have to hit up.
Where you just have that freaking strapper on your shoulder and say, hey, remember the conversation we had a while back? And even bring light to her. I definitely want to see her eyes just pop out of her head.
Yeah, I was real cheap too, and I was like trying to have it was like $65 a month, which really is nothing, and that was like almost
nothing.
That was almost the deal breaker for me. Well, because I was paying $20 a month at Bally's, and I was thinking, oh, this is another gym, like it's $60, like $65. Oh my god.
Yeah. And I can see that approach until you get in and realize that everything you're getting out of it and what it can lead to. So I mean, plus you can't put a dollar price on like the type of brotherhood you gain and the friendships you build and stuff.
But the people walking in the door, they don't understand that yet.
Yeah, exactly. They don't know that yet. It's lifelong friendships, trust me, that you're gonna build, guys. I'm telling you. Walk in the door. Don't be afraid. Look through the window, say hi, but then walk in. Don't just wave. Walk in.
I noticed one of your pictures talking about brotherhood. I saw you with a big LeVar Johnson and Rico from a Red Wave Tattoo, man. And Rico wanted me to tell you, he goes, hey, you got my boy on the show. Tell him I said what's up.
Yeah, we just got this.
Yeah, I was going to say, how'd that turn out? That looks nice.
Yeah.
We call it biomechanical, bioorganic. What is that?
He did this.
Yeah. So when it's all said and done, what's that tattoo going to run you? About $1,200?
He sponsors me. So
there you go. Okay.
Yeah. No, but that is that whole sleeve there is about at least $1,200. Maybe
that's what I was going to say. That's like a
$25 for the
$1,500 tattoo.
Yeah, probably $2,000.
Yeah.
But I know you're primarily jiu-jitsu guy right now, but I wanted to pick your brain in a couple upcoming MMA matches and just kind of see what you thought, since you're the guy that wanted to. I'm only fighting if I can fight in the UFC. So we'll test your money pick knowledge on this. What do you think about Jan Belatsky and Israel Adesanya fighting? Who you think?
I got Izzy for sure. Izzy for sure.
Izzy on that one?
Yeah, guaranteed. His Jan is really he's not the most technical on the feet, but he hits really hard. Mm-hmm. He's aggressive. He doesn't have great wrestling. He doesn't have great jiu-jitsu. He's mostly a striker with punching power, right?
Jiu-jitsu, yeah.
But I don't think that he's going to be able to hit Izzy. Look what Izzy did to Paulo Costa. Costa and Blachowicz have a very similar game, right? Aggressive power punchers. Costa was frozen because he couldn't touch Izzy. Mm-hmm. Izzy's striking is on another. He's a black belt in striking. Jan is a purple belt with really heavy hands.
Kind of doing like what Dominic Cruz did. He started that whole on your bike kind of movement. Nobody could mimic it for a while, and then they started catching up. The DJs, the Dillashaws, things like that. People started catching up, the Cody Garbrandts, and started mimicking it. So right now, he's doing the same thing. Izzy's doing the same thing. He's setting this new tone of elusiveness and movement and footwork and stuff that nobody's really going to be able to mimic and catch up to him for a while.
But I would say that Dominic Cruz, he had that unique style, right? But it wasn't fundamentally the best. Izzy, I would say, doesn't necessarily have some crazy unique style, but fundamentally, he's just the best striker in the UFC.
Very strong basics.
Yeah, he's just amazing at striking.
Okay.
So and he's a specialist, right? So what it's going to take is another specialist, someone that goes through kickboxing or boxing, becomes world class, and then learns the grappling and the wrestling, and then goes to the UFC. That type of fighter would be on the same level as Izzy.
Something that nullifies or evens the playing field and forces Izzy to change plans. And then maybe that's where the guy catches him and goes, well, I'm better at you than this. That's where I'm going to catch you now.
Yeah, or unless you get an 185-pound version of like a Khabib, that style could give Izzy problems.
Somebody start feeding Shia a lot of meat, something.
I know. I just don't know if he's necessarily big enough because he fights 170 and 185. But he would be like the perfect style, someone who's going to get in your face and just nonstop takedowns.
Force him to use that sprawl and stay in the center of the ring.
Yeah, but even then, Izzy like sprawls and then punishes you for it too, like he did Brunson.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's going to take. I thought Costa would give him a tough fight. Like I thought it was going to be a 5-round war, like the Gastelum fight. But he just froze Costa in his tracks.
Yeah, I knew he was going to trash Costa all the way. So you got Izzy over Jan. So what do you think about the Chandler Hooker fight? Michael Chandler got brought in. Remember, he got brought in as a replacement for the Habib Poirier fight. So the UFC brought him in as like a touted, like you're so good, we're going to use you as a replacement in case one of these guys gets hurt. You're our title guy. And now he's fighting a guy that's coming off a loss. I'm just trying to wrap my head around it.
But who else do you have him fight? I think Hooker's the highest ranked guy at lightweight that needed a fight. I think that's why he got the fight. And I think Chandler won the fight.
Can I have him fight Oliveira, the winner of Poirier McGregor?
Man, Oliveira would definitely be a better fight, but I don't know what happened. Oliveira just fought. Maybe he didn't want to take the fight on short notice, but that definitely would make more sense than Hooker. But with that being said, I think Hooker does make sense because it's still Chandler's first fight in the UFC. It's his first fight in the UFC. Like Gaethje's first fight in the UFC was Michael Johnson, right? Like when you come in from a different organization, you don't necessarily fight the best guy first. They did bring him in as a replacement, but I don't think that means that he's ready for a title shot.
I don't think he was at all. I was super confused as to why they did it, but to do that, and then it feels like they took his level of value and then said, okay, now that we're not pressured, we only feel that you're good enough to be like around here. But he's supposed to be co-maining that fight or that card with the McGregor card. I think he's co-maining it. I think that's what the co is.
Yeah, I think the fight makes sense. I think that if Hooker wins, he's right back in title contention in the picture. But at 155, it's a logjam, so it's going to be rough for him to get a title shot. Then if Chandler wins and he does it impressively, then he's going to put his name in the hat also for the next title shot.
So, I mean, I don't like it because I think they're touting him a little too high, but I like Chandler for that one. Who are you taking on that one?
Yeah, that one's rough, man. That's a hard pick.
Right?
You got Chandler.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Chandler on that one probably for sure. Just because he's a good fighter. He's coming off like 2 back-to-back knockout wins. One was like a spinning elbow or something goofy, and the other one was a right hand. So he's got knockout power. That's
one of those stylistic matchups where it's kind of like striker versus grappler. I definitely think Hooker's going to have the advantage on the feet. I think Chandler's going to have the advantage in the grappling. Man, that one's like, to me, that one's a coin toss. The betting line should be pretty close there because I feel I feel like you could flip a coin.
I think they're hoping Chandler wins that fight.
I think so too.
They brought him in, so they wanted to win, but
I would go with Hooker only because I think he's had more world-class fighting
experience opponents.
Chandler's been fighting good guys, but I think Hooker's been fighting a little bit better guys.
I see what you're saying. Maybe not with the best results, but he's still fighting a higher caliber of opponent where it's like, okay, now when I fight you, you're tough, but I fought, you were better already. I should be able to beat you kind of approach.
Yeah,
okay.
So we're going to see he's one of the best, obviously, in Bellator. Hooker's like, between top 10, top 5 in the UFC. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Chandler won. No,
yeah, that's what I'm saying is I'm leaning more towards him. But like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Hooker won and won by like a knockout because they tried to trade chins and see who went down first. The last one is going to be at the end of this month, the McGregor-Poirier rematch. I'm leaning towards Dustin a little. Well, Poirier's done a lot since they fought. This was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that prediction, man, because Poirier's had a lot more fights. He's been so active. He beat freaking Max Holloway in between, right?
Exactly.
And he's closed the gap. He's closed the gap. I mean, he's really picked up a skill set. He didn't just get beat and say, okay, I'm just going to coast through. He closed the gap, put some big names on his resume, and that cliche went back to the drawing board and came back a winner. I mean, this guy would devastatingly knock out the other guy that came in with Conor McGregor. Definitely, he is 2 different people now is what I'm saying. But that's still going to be a great fight.
That's going to be a great fight. It might be a 5-round war, man. I don't know if McGregor's going to knock – I think McGregor's going to win, but I don't know if he's going to knock him out in the first round again.
No, I don't think it goes all 5.
I think it goes to gas tanks.
I think the gas tanks will be there, but we'll see a really fast-paced scramble, if anything, like when Khabib knocked down Conor in their fight. He scrambled and stayed up and just spider walked backwards almost. So we'll see a lot of that fast-paced scrambling, I think. But second, third round, tops. I don't think we see much past the third.
I could definitely picture a similar fight to Conor Diaz 2, where Conor puts him down a couple times early. Dustin survives, starts to put the pressure on. Dustin has good pressure, high volume of strikes, amazing cardio, puts the pressure on McGregor. We start to see McGregor fade, and then McGregor kind of comes back. He gets that second win, and then maybe starts coming back in the later rounds. But it also could be a quick knockout too. But I would love if it was one of those classic 5-round wars.
No,
this is a dream for Dustin to get him back in that cage. This has been an absolute dream. He's been nothing, and he knew, like I'll use that term you use, it was a log jam to try to get in that lotto ticket to fight McGregor, but to actually get his gift and get called out by McGregor, he's definitely going to stay away from that big left hand. I look for him to shoot early.
What do you God, that's such a hard one. Do you know if it's going to be even 5 rounds? I don't even know if it's.
Yeah, it'll be 5 rounds. It's a main event. The other thing you have to think about too is the weight cut was really hard for Dustin to make 145, and when you're cutting a lot of weight, you get knocked out a little bit easier, right? So McGregor touched him and he was out. So now it's at 155. So I think Dustin's chin's going to hold up a little bit better.
And then we got to see if Conor can shed off that Donald Cerrone weight. He was up at 170 for that fight, right?
170, yeah. But I think he'll be fine at 155.
Yeah, strong.
Yeah, I think 150. Honestly, he looked good at 170, but against Usman, I don't think he would be able to win the title, right? But at 155, I think he has a better chance.
Yeah, I don't see him beating Usman. Not at that weight. I don't think his experience and skill set transfers well into that water area. I think those guys are just a little bit better than him and naturally bigger than him, and that's all it takes. Like that little bit of difference in skill set and being so much bigger, I think, is where he'd be. 155.
I would love to see Conor Khabib too, man. I rewatched the first fight not too long ago, and man, Conor was doing a lot of good things, especially after you see Khabib mauling Gaethje, mauling Poirier. Conor was doing a lot of good things defensively with his jiu-jitsu. Conor has good jiu-jitsu. So I'd love to see that fight again. I don't know if it would go differently. He might get mauled again by Khabib, but I think that Conor's has done the best grappling-wise with Khabib than any of his other recent opponents.
As silly as it may sound, Conor forced his own submission. Reason being is because he started having success with that left hand, and what did Khabib do immediately? Take him down to the ground because he didn't want to taste it anymore. And that was like towards the third round, and finally I was thinking, okay, Conor has a shot because they're both kind of winded, and now Conor still had more ammo on that left hand, but he was immediately taken to the ground, and that's all she wrote. But I would love to see it again. I know Cole Escovedo don't want to see it again. We talked about that over and over again.
I just thought it was too much of a dominating performance given Conor looked good, yeah, but I just think that it was such a dominating performance by Khabib that I just think we would see the same thing. I don't think it would be any different.
I think it was strategy.
Who would you rather see Khabib fight in the top 5? Oliveira?
I'd rather really see him fight Oliveira. I would rather really see him fight Oliveira. He destroyed Ferguson almost to the point where it's like, dude, I think he could have finished Ferguson at any point he wanted to, but chose to just pound on him. I would rather see that. That, to me, would be a real title fight. Like, that would be the real who's the man now. Because
but, of course, with Conor's name, he's going to get the fight before Oliveira.
Unfortunately, yeah, but that's how politics works, which brings me, Dana White said something in an article the other day about how, oh, no, rankings really matter to us. Get the fuck out of here, rankings matter. You got dudes with 2 losses in a row getting title fights. I don't stop, Dana. No, uncle, no. But speaking of Dana, though, he did, and you guys probably have a problem with this with the Submission Underground stuff as well as, like, I know Fight to Win had this problem too. He's going to start cracking down on streamers. Like, he was like, oh, I can't wait to watch it. Thanks for the free card. I'm going to stream the shit out of this. And Dana was like, yeah, I got something new for you motherfuckers too. Like, I'm bringing something really strong on. So do you think streaming is really that big of a problem that they're going to look into it this hard and have something that you can really not get around?
I think that for every person that buys the UFC, I think that there's 10 people streaming it. I mean, you hear about it so much. You hear about it so much.
Dude, it's like,
I'd
what,
rather personally,
$89.95?
yeah, I'd rather go to Buffalo Wild Wings and watch it with a group of people. That's the vibes there when everyone goes crazy, when there's like a big knockout. That's how I enjoy it the most. It does suck with COVID. You can't do that right now.
Yeah, and that's where the streaming pirating has been such a problem for them the last year, that it's the only platform you can watch it on. You can't go out and watch it in a bar. You can't go to a sports bar or anything. You got to watch it. If you're not going to spend, what is it? You have to have Disney Plus with ESPN Plus, and then you have to buy it on top of that.
Yeah. So they usually run a deal where it's like $80. You get a year of the ESPN Plus and the pay-per-view.
Oh,
and then after that, you just pay for the pay-per-view. Yeah.
See, that's just, what's the point of having the pay-per-view? You got to pay for them anyway. What's the point of getting the ESPN?
Yeah, because they don't want to go through the cable providers anymore because cable providers take a big chunk of the pay-per-view.
They did, and that was their big reason for moving, and that's That's one of the reasons why they're going to put that hotel up soon. They want to start getting. They already broke ground on that out by Red Rock Casino. They're going to build their whole fucking venue and everything. Like a couple of years from now, you won't see a UFC anywhere else but like Fight Island or this location. No more Mandalay, no more MGM, no more Apex, no more none of that. They'll be fuck you guys. We're making all the cheddar.
That's what Top Rank is doing to with MGM Grand. Their whole bubble is set up for the whole network. MGM Grand, ESPN. You got people actually living in there with the residency. Once it's during fight week, they're up there for as long as a week in that bubble. A little bit of flexibility there, but they locked that in. So ESPN wasn't about to take a hit, or neither was Top Rank. But I know exactly what you're talking about, Cole. Dana White's a genius. People can call him an asshole all they want. He doesn't spend $1 not to make fucking $10. Trust me.
Yeah, if he spends $1, he expects 10 back.
But he's not going to go to sleep at night with some motherfucker saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to stream this shit." Dude, you're telling on all of us. Come on.
All of us.
But speaking of locking things in, you were mentioning earlier when we were talking that you had something as far as an event that you've been looking to plan on. You got something coming up in Fresno?
Yeah, so we've actually run one tournament before in Fresno in the past, just a normal tournament. We were planning on doing our second event right around March or April, and then COVID hit, so obviously we weren't able to do it. And now it's been almost a year, and everything's still locked down. You have all the regulations. So the biggest problem that I see with jiu-jitsu players or jiu-jitsu hobbyists in the area, especially in the Central Valley, the only tournaments that are going on are outside of California, right? So most people that do jiu-jitsu as a hobby and compete once or twice a year, they're not going to travel to Florida and do the pans. They're not going to travel to Texas and do like fight to win. They want to wake up in the morning, drive over to wherever, compete, and then be home for dinner, right? So what you have is you have a lot of people that want some form of competition that don't have the means to do it. So we're setting this event up. We're trying to do it as safe as possible so that, there's no outbreaks. We don't want to obviously not want to get shut down. So in our minds, you would have one match. That way you only have exposure to one other person.
Super fight.
And then like a super fight, right? But the thing is, normally, like most of these super fight events, you don't see white belts and blue belts in these events because they're like streamed on whatever platform, right? So we're doing a super fight style match, but where anyone can compete. Kids, white belts, if you're 40 years old or 20 years old. So right now on the website, it's undergroundfightseries.com. We have a registration form there. You can put all your info in, your age, your belt rank, and your weight. And then we're going to take all the entries and we're going to try to match everyone up. Hopefully there might be some people that we can't get matches for. But we're going to try our best to get everyone matched up. That way you guys have a chance to compete without having to like travel and pay for a flight and miss work and all that stuff. And it's $50, just so that we can pay for the venue. We're going to do a stream live on Facebook and on YouTube. So that way, you can't have your family watch you, but you can stream it for free on Facebook or YouTube, and then people can watch you compete.
Right. Have you guys started looking at locations? Did you guys have anything in mind? What kind of venue size you're going to want to try to facilitate?
Yeah, we have a location locked in. We pretty much have kind of like a conference room. We're going to just have one mat in there. We're going to have commentators, our one ref, and then we have another separate area that's going to be like a warm-up area. So we're going to have some mats in there to warm up. We're going to have our ring. We're going to just kind of try to keep everyone spread apart. It's not the biggest venue, but it's big enough to make it work, right?
You got to start somewhere.
We're just we're trying to set something up for the community, right? There's nothing going on right now. There are gyms open. There's people training, but no one's been able to do a competition yet. Yeah, so we're just trying to get people back into it.
Cool. I like that. I know Bull, Breslin, right? I know he's trying to do something down in the Baco area too, so maybe you guys can collaborate and kind of work off each other's what works for you, what didn't work for you, where did you find a problem, what problems you guys are, because you guys are going to have different types of events, but similar as far as how the wheel's going to have to work to make the events happen, kind of thing. Since no one, like I said, Cali's really hard to do comps in right now. But I'm super excited.
It would be better to do like round robin or to do like groups of 8 or something, but we just want to take all the precautions for this one and get the feedback, and then hopefully in the next couple months the regulations start to open up, and then we can do like a real tournament.
Something with a multiple opponent type structure almost bracket.
Or gym versus gym. That all sounds good, and that's usually what you have anyways.
Dude, I'm telling you, dude, I miss Dojo Wars. You could have a whole reality series. It's called Dojo Wars.
Hey, you came to Madera a while back and you did a seminar for Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you do give back to the Valley, and that habit doesn't get broken. I mean, you continue to always wanting to give back. What I see in your future, man, is your own gym in Fresno, California, man.
Yeah, no, that would be sick. It would be sick. I mean, Fresno, there's definitely there's a couple gyms in Fresno, but for how big the city is, there's not that much jiu-jitsu there. You have maybe like 5 spots, right? 5 or 6 spots, but it has such a huge population. These other cities in California, LA and San Jose, San Francisco, San Diego, they have a jiu-jitsu gym on every corner. So I think that Fresno is definitely a big market. I have all my roots there, all my family. I have all the people that were kind of like maybe fans of mine when I was fighting in MMA. I had a big following in Fresno. So I think my name holds a lot of value in Fresno. So yeah, and my girlfriend's in Fresno still. My mom's in Fresno. So yeah, that would be cool.
If you start a kids program though, you have to call them Mason's Manglers. Yeah,
no, for sure. That would be sick. That's perfect.
Yeah, for the little guys.
That would be sick. That was going to be my next question. What would you call the gym?
Either like a CTA. CTA is the gym I train at now. I train at the headquarters. It could be like a CTA Fresno. It could be like a Fowler Jiu-Jitsu. It could be like a Fresno Jiu-Jitsu. It could be whatever. Those are a couple things that I've bounced my,
Something will eventually come to you that's unique for you. You'll have a very unique style, I think. And you'll have, like you said, I think you're humble, but I think you underestimate the amount of support you have for the market in which you want to get into. Your support here would be astronomical. I know. I think you'd be able to have run time. Mat space would be a problem. That would probably be one of the bigger problems you'd have is mat space.
Yeah, well, when I do decide to open up a gym, whether it's in the Bay or in Fresno, I thanks to Uncle Chael, I have a big stack of money saved up. So when the gym does come, it's going to be hopefully big and really nice. I want to make something nice.
You know what? That goes hand in hand with my question. You actually have some questions coming in, but I'm going to get to this one. This one's from SHELLY, HOLLIS, Stockton, the Fighter's Voice in Stockton. How is Chael when the microphone's not on and the camera's not on? Because you know how he just puts on that mystique about him and that character. How is he on a daily? Your relationship with him?
Man, he's the best. I mean, I can just tell this short story and it'll kind of give you an idea. The first time I competed for Submission Underground, I was entered into a 10K tournament, right? Won the tournament, got the check from Chael, and that was the first time I've ever met him in person. And like we've been talking about, I'm a huge fan of MMA. I can remember watching on pay-per-view when he fought Anderson Silva and almost beat him.
Yep.
I've been following him forever, right? I'm a huge fan of his. Yeah, so went up to him and I was just like, man, it's like so nice to meet you. Like, I'm a huge fan of yours. And he was just like, likewise, I'm a huge fan of yours too. And I was like, oh shit. Like, he was hyping me up. After that, it was like, Uncle Chael, I got you, buddy.
Nice. That's cool when you get a guy of that caliber that can look at you and go, no, I've been watching what you've been doing. That's got to be a huge confidence booster.
Yeah, that was huge. I was like, oh shit, really?
Right.
And then every time at SUG, I always, after the event, try to go find him and, have a little conversation with him. He's just the best, man. They really take care of the fighters. Every time that we compete, right afterwards, they have this huge spread of food, like tri-tip and like chicken, mashed potatoes. Like, it's like a Thanksgiving feast. And they always have like a big fridge full of like Gatorades and waters, and they really take care of us, man.
No, that's pretty cool. He was actually on my bucket list, to interview, and I was fortunate to interview him in Las Vegas on fight week of Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor.
Oh, that's awesome.
But during the interview, he went in character on me. So
really?
he was getting ready to try to crush me, but I didn't let him crush me. So I said, it's a privilege and an honor to interview you. And he said, I bet you're just thrilled right now to interview me myself. And he just went on. So I had to just block that out, finish the interview, slam dunk it, and that's all she wrote. And I noticed.
Did he get the 2 thumbs up from Champ?
Oh, yes, we did. The thumbs up for Richie at the very end.
Thumbs up for Richie, yeah.
Absolutely. And actually, he has a shirt. I gave him a shirt. And he said he was going to rock it and tag me, but I understand, he gets very busy. He was with his mom. His mom was with him, and he was very close to his mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, his mom was on location there. Actually, ESPN was getting ready. They were touching him up. As they're touching him up, I'm getting the interview. So I was allowed to come underneath where it was blocked off, pull that interview, and he's everything that you think he would be. He's a class act. And when he's all decked out in his suit, he looks like freaking Clark Kent, man, getting ready to turn into Superman.
Yeah. No, he's a great dude. He's the best.
So right now, when you have your camps, who do you have that's helping you get ready? You obviously, like any other fighter, competitive nature, you've got sponsors, you've got companies, like you've got the Inc. sponsor, you've got, Red Wave, those guys out there taking care of you. Who else? Because I see you every once in a while popping up with your, like your bars and stuff. You're like, oh, I can't wait to armbar somebody while I eat this. And they're funny, but like, I know you've got some real sponsors and you're trying to come with a new approach with your branding and stuff, marketing of it. Who do you have that's in your corner right now?
Yeah, so I have a Wild Bar Co. It's a new type of, you can call it like a protein bar. It's like all nuts and seeds, all like natural stuff. And then I have Foxhound Fuel. They're like my supplement company. I have Santa Cruz Medicinals. They're like my CBD company. They make really, really high dose CBD stuff. I got some right here. I take this every night before bed, man. It freaking puts me out. They have like really high dose.
What is that? I need some of that. What is that?
Yeah, it's like a CBD protein powder.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I usually take one of these right before bed, and I'm like, it puts me like so relaxed because it has 1,000 milligrams of CBD in it.
Well, its goal is to probably help you stay asleep, not really get to sleep, but help your body calm down so you can stay sleeping and not do that whole we all do, the wake up and turn over, roll over, wake up. Because once you wake up, it takes your body a whole new segment of procedures to get back to sleep and REM sleep. And sometimes you never make it back down. You just kind of go and you just stay up here for the rest of your night.
Yeah. Cool. So they've been great. And then I have Moya Brand. They're my gi sponsor.
I was going to say, I saw those guys.
Yeah, Moya Brand takes care of me. I have a coffee sponsor, Action Coffee.
You even got a coffee sponsor, huh?
Yeah, they send me coffee. Yeah, they sponsor Rumble too. Rumble has like his own coffee blend.
Oh, nice. Just moved over to Bellator, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anthony? Yeah, cool. That's going to be, they've created a nice little multi-man tournament that potential that they've got now. They've got all those guys signed up over there.
Yeah, UL too. Yeah, that would be sick.
Yeah, you got Yoel, you've got Johnson, you've got Bader still. Like, you've got all these guys that you can kind of try to move pieces around and see what fun stuff you could do. I mean, there's super fight potential out the wazoo now, but I thought Romero was going to go to bare knuckle. I would not have pegged him to go to Bellator. I figure him being on like the tail, he's what, 49?
42.
Right? Is he 42? He's been in it for a couple of years ago, yeah. So
still
42,
freaking chubby, man.
I felt that bare knuckle would be where he would maximize value on the last, like, let's be honest, last couple legs of the shelf life there, versus where Bellator, he would be a draw. I just don't see him being as much of a household name for that organization to really make as much cheddar. But I mean, he signed, so the fuck do I know?
They
so
probably just threw some big money. Yeah.
But cool beans. Well, when you have to start giving us some more plans on the Fresno thing, when that starts to come to fruition, start shooting me some information so we can start updating our fans and stuff. At least those who want to compete and travel, I mean, they'll have to come here and compete. It's going to be a one-day event, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
No, we'll definitely push that on the podcast too. And during that time, we'll have a KP cut it up and edit it, and that's something to share, man. And there you got yourself a commercial. So send us that flyer once it's out there in the date, and we'll throw it out there as well.
Will do.
Heck yeah.
Cool. Now, before we let you go, though, if I'm in the San Jose area and I want to come train with you, well,
after COVID,
where could they find you? Not to mention if they do privates, maybe via Zoom or something with you. Is that
Yeah,
okay?
I can do privates. I can do privates. I actually have mats at my place, or we can figure something out for the privates.
Okay.
Just message me on Instagram. This is my name, Mason Fowler, and then MMA. And then, yeah, if you ever want to come try a class at CTA whenever we're open, it's just CTA, Kyle Terra Academy.
Cool.
Yeah, I was trying to find you on Twitter. You don't have a Twitter account? I kind of hashtagged you on there.
Yeah, I don't really use Twitter. I have one somewhere, but I don't really use it.
Right? I have one. I hardly ever use it. I don't.
That's why when I tag you, Cole, you never share anything, my man.
Bro, I'm so bad at Twitter. Like I used to use it for posts mostly.
Just use it on Tuesdays and Wednesdays for the show, and then Thursdays because Stockton.
I got a TikTok.
Oh, what?
Yeah, TikTok. Yeah, Mason Fowler MMA. TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. That's it. And then Twitch soon.
I'll give you the Instagram and the Facebook, but the TikTok, I don't know. We got to talk about that.
You got to promote, man. It's the new stuff. The new stuff.
No, I feel you. Self branding is the new key. So, but on your next fight, though, I do expect to see that mustache. Like you have to have it. Got to do it. Stash is cash, man.
Appreciate you coming on the show, man. You got to get back to Cole or even myself. I message you on there. Just send me your sizes, man, and I'll send one over to a place of yours. And got to get you a Fighter's Voice T-shirt, man. Got to make sure you have one of those.
Okay, sick. Thank you. Yeah.
Absolutely, man.
All right, brother. We appreciate you coming on, man. Thanks for your time today, brother. Really appreciate you, taking time out of your training day and stuff.
For sure. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
All right, man. We'll be in touch, Mace.
It's our pleasure having you on. And once those dates crack or you got another fight, please let us know, and we'll push and promote that. Hey, and like always, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for following us. Don't forget to go to our YouTube, subscribe, because it is growing. I appreciate you guys. It's www.youtube.com/thefightersvoice. Remember, every fighter has a voice, and so do you. It's a wrap. Thumbs up for Richie.
Okay, fight fans, it's not goodbye, but until next week. Remember, it's always voiceography at its finest. So on behalf of Richard Ortiz, Cole Escovedo, the special guests, and all the crew right here at the Kick-Ass Podcast, saying hasta luego, babies. And always, thanks for listening.